Welcome back, everyone. Today we have some good news for you. It should be a relatively short video. Before we jump into the actual topic at hand, if you guys are hearing really weird noises in the background, we are down in Florida and we had a crazy ice storm come through last night, and it is ice literally falling out of palm trees, smashing into the ground. That is what you are hearing in the background. Now, moving on to the story of the day, the good news story of the day. Woke up this morning and magically the president's or the White House's, I want to make sure I get the name right, the White House's Office of Gun Violence Prevention has been disbanded. It is gone. It is no more. Now, that of course is good news, and we will get into why that is here in just a second. For those who don't know what this office was, it is a byproduct of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that a bunch of Republicans actually voted for. It was the first major piece of anti-gun legislation in many, many years. And like I just said, a lot of Republicans voted for it. If they voted for it, you should see their names here on your screen. They are the folks that need to be primaried in the next election. However, what this office did, and I'm going to read from their talking points memo here of what they did over the past year, just so you guys can get an idea of what these people are doing. I'm going to translate liberal speak into reality of what they were actually doing. But once again, this was actually something that was authorized by Congress to be executed at the presidential level to coordinate between various federal agencies as well as every single state that would work with them. Anyway, obviously a lot of them wouldn't because it's unconstitutional, but the ones that would work with them, they were giving them a lot of money to fund programs that were either monitoring gun owners or doing something else illegal and or unconstitutional. So with that, let's talk about their actual talking points here. They claim they created America's first federal gun violence emergency response team, bringing together FBI, FEMA, and multiple federal agencies to respond to mass shootings. So I'm sure many of you who have been watching the news over the past year have watched what FEMA's been doing, both in Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, as well as the response in Maui and Los Angeles. And you are super confident in FEMA's ability to work together with different organizations to aid the American public. Obviously, that's sarcasm. They are not able to do that in any way. All they're able to do is siphon money and resources to their friends in a corrupt manner. And they were doing that with the aid of the FBI. That was a big piece of ice right there. They're doing that with the aid of the FBI under this program. Next, they claim they coordinated implementation of over 40 executive actions on gun violence, more than any previous administration. So that absolutely is true. It's way more than any previous administration. And the reason other administrations didn't do that is because, again, it is unconstitutional and not in the best interest of the American people and their civil rights. These 40 executive actions range from big things all the way down to small things. So like at the big level, it would be things like zero tolerance policies for FFLs, meaning that if an FFL writes the wrong street name on a transfer form and the ATF goes and inspects it, they could remove their FFL. A clerical error, rather, that typically would just be in the past before these executive actions would just be corrected on the spot and FFL given some retraining, and they would continue on about their business. In this case, they were revoking them. I think we're going to get to it here in a second, but they revoked more FFLs since this gun violence task force or office has been implemented than any time before that. And then it goes all the way rather down to the individual level, where they were doing enhanced background checks with other private entities. There's a number of them. Double Check comes to mind, but there's more than just that one. And they were doing enhanced background checks, which are not required under law at all, further delaying or denying people from obtaining their firearms when before this executive action, that would have never been the case and the transfer would have gone smoothly. This gave a little extra money for friends of the Biden administration to do these enhanced checks. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff they're doing. To that end, we're going to skip down to the bottom bullet point because it's what I was just talking about. They claim they implemented enhanced background check systems that stopped over 500 illegal gun purchases. Once again, very few of those, maybe one or two, would have been illegal gun purchases. Most of them were not. Most of them were enhancing the Charleston loophole. That's a rabbit hole you guys can go down another day, but I can assure you they were not. The vast majority of those, maybe a couple were, the vast majority of those were not unconstitutional or illegal gun purchases. They also go on to state that they worked with state and local governments to distribute nearly $200 million in community violence intervention funding. So this is what I was just talking about earlier. Essentially what they were doing was linking up with different state organizations, both state, like actual government organizations, as well as other NGOs that operated within the state, and they were laundering money to either indoctrinate kids. A lot of cases they were doing this in schools through like school resource officers and things like that, and or just outside of schools. A lot of these were at various church organizations as well, where they were trying to spread propaganda and saying like, oh, if you have a gun at home, let us know and we'll catalog it. Like, i.e., do your parents have a gun at home? Let us know, we'll catalog it. Those things were going on all across America. I know that specific one happened in Chicago before it was exposed last year. And then, of course, they magically stopped. But those are the kind of things that this office at the executive level, at the presidential level, was doing. And now President Trump has closed it. And then it goes on, last one there, it says they went on, this office coordinated with state and local agencies to close 800 rogue gun dealers. Again, that goes back to what I was just talking about with the zero tolerance policy for FFLs. Now, as of right now, that page in terms of the zero tolerance policy has also been deleted. So just like this office was deleted from the White House's page, that's also been deleted from the Department of Justice's page. However, I don't know if that has actually stopped or not, or if they just removed it because we have a new sheriff in town. But it is good news that it has been removed from their actual page. So seemingly they're not doing that anymore. However, I haven't seen anything official on that. But that is the kind of things that President Trump closing this organization down immediately overnight is going to stop going forward. Now, the money has still been allocated. Like I said, Congress did authorize this program, sadly enough. So I'm not sure what the Trump administration is going to do with the money that it's allocated for this organization. Hopefully, they return it to the actual Treasury, so that way our debt isn't so huge, because certainly that would be a good thing for the American people. But let me know down below if you guys have better ideas of what this funding could be used for. I'm certainly open to it. But the closure of this organization is definitely a good thing. They had, I believe, up to 52 employees at one time in this one office. What were they all doing? The kinds of things we were just talking about. So them being unemployed is a good thing for sure. That's pretty much it, guys. I want to bring you a little bit of good news. On the 2A front, we have a lot of good news just for America in general that you guys have been seeing over the last few days with President Trump being in office. But this one, of course, is 2A focused, which is what we focus on here on the channel. If you like this type of video, you know, good news, positive 2A stuff, definitely hit the subscribe button. Unfortunately, we haven't been doing a lot of it over the last 4 years, but I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot more of it over the next 4 years. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you've done that, you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, then you are being censored by an algorithm from the content I put up, because I am putting it up every week consistently without fail. So easy ways to get around that is to sign up for the email list at the website here on your screen. This will get you signed up on 2 different lists. It'll get you signed up for the monthly email that goes out once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous email went out. So that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content via an algorithm. Additionally, it will get you put on the daily deals email. That email goes out every day, as the name indicates, and it has typically 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If the item, whatever it is, guns, gear, optics, ammo, etc., if the item is in the email on a given day, it's the cheapest I know of anywhere on the internet. So that way, hopefully it saves you some money as well as saves you some time, because I've already done the price comparisons for you. And lastly, we have an SMS list that you guys can sign up for as well. Once again, it is a way to get around the algorithm. You guys can sign up for that at the website here on your screen. It goes out at most once a day. It goes straight from me into your inbox on your cell phone or your message app, if you will, depending on how you have your cell phone set up. And again, at most once a day, typically not every day. And it's either a really smoking deal or it is a new video that has just dropped, the link to that video. So that way, once again, you're not being censored by an algorithm from my content. Additionally, if you're signed up for the SMS list, you also are on the list of a video that we do once a month. It's a private Q&A session only for people on the SMS list. I will send out a link to that video. You guys can jump on and ask me any question you want. And I think that's pretty much it. But we have good news for you today. That's the first time in a long time I've brought you guys good news. So happy to do so. And thank you all for watching. I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.